Welcome to another episode of the It Gets Better I Swear podcast. This is your host, Louis Beans, and I'm here with Merc with the mic.
What's going on, guys?
Yo, we have a jam-packed show for you today. Jam-packed full of squares, triangles, X's, and circles. Did you know in Japan they are called crosses?
It is always it is cross. They call it cross.
And it's not the confirm button, it's the go back button.
Yeah,
Which makes sense when you look at it.
yeah. If you
But
play Metal Gear, you'd learn.
yes. Yes. Or if you play Square RPGs.
Yeah.
They sometimes had them the other direction. Um, let's see. It is the 25th anniversary of the Sony PlayStation.
Happy birthday, PlayStation.
PlayStation. Remember her?
PlayStation.
Where'd she go?
I don't know. She
Um,
probably died.
oh, she wasn't real.
Probably retired. Sing
I swear she
PlayStation.
was she was the original Vocaloid.
Yeah.
Um, so with that said, we just want to talk a little bit about, actually a lot about our favorite PlayStation games from, I believe it's the PlayStation 1, which, what is that?
So
96, 96,
before
95,
95.
94, 94. 1994 is when is when PlayStation came out. Actually, I have the actual date, December 3rd, 1994. And that's really, but okay, well, that's actually the debut in Japan.
Yeah, I'm like it didn't come out that.
Yeah,
It came
so
out like the later that year
so
in
its actual birthday is December 3rd.
December.
So that's in Japan first. So for us, it was a little later.
Yeah,
Um,
because it
do
came
you
out
go ahead, go ahead.
after the Saturn.
Oh man, did it?
Yeah, because it came out September '95 in America.
Got you. Okay.
Saturn came out earlier that year.
Does it? Do you also know when the Japanese Saturn came out? Like, did it come out around the same time as the Japanese PlayStation?
I'll tell you right now. I just got the.
Because I wonder who, in that case, who won that race? Shit.
Actually, Saturn came out after November '94.
Whoa! So that means Saturn was before PlayStation 1. Wow! Didn't know that. That's awesome. Um, but with that
And
said,
then July '95
that's the
in
PlayStation 1
America.
though. So
In America,
yeah.
Saturn came out in '95.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think back then it was like you usually wait 3 months.
Yeah.
Like we wait for games. But I think back then it was like 6 months for games because of localization and stuff.
Yeah.
Now I think in the PlayStation 3/360 era, it was 3 months for localization.
They try to actually do it same date half the time
Yeah,
too.
now that's you hear. Yeah.
They try
So
to
like
release it all
that's crazy.
everywhere
For, like
together.
RPGs and stuff. Because didn't Final Fantasy 15 come out the same date in both?
Yes, it did.
So yeah, good on them.
Which I think that's the reason why it gets delayed and shit. That too.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hey,
Yeah.
listen, I'll take it. A nice complete jankless game than to take a rush janky game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. WWE 2K20.
Oh,
Looking
you
at
looking
you.
at Fallout, anything
Yeah.
past 3. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But no, we're not just here to throw shade. We're here to celebrate the the birthday, 25 years of PlayStation. That's throughout up to now 4 main consoles, but also 2 handhelds. Because
Yeah.
the PlayStation, what was the first one?
The PSP and then the Vita.
Yeah, Vita. I know. Did you know there's still games coming out for Vita, even though in America, no?
Yeah. Because it's easy to develop games for the Vita.
Like recently, I believe we were talking about Dragon's Crown a tiny bit. I believe Vanillaware is that company that puts out those games. I think they have like a new RPG that just came out. So
Yeah.
listen to a podcast 84, and those guys are they usually work on they work on localization.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting to hear them talk about Japanese games from a different perspective. But anyway, um, so what we want to do this week is go through a bunch of our favorite games from each of those systems that we own.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to make you say anything you didn't own. So if you didn't have a Vita or a PSP, or like you literally had one game and didn't play it, you ain't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Listen, I know a lot of people had it and they didn't buy any games because man, that was almost as bad of a piracy problem as the Dreamcast
Yeah.
for PSP. Dude.
Shit. PSP, the PlayStation
Yeah.
had a lot of piracy.
And to some extent, PS2, you could do it, but I think it was a riskier proposition to mod your PS2.
Yeah, they made it a bit more difficult to do it with the PS2 disc. That's why they had the purple disc in the back. That was the original idea for it. Is the fact that to use that to not prevent piracy,
Yeah.
which was
And
the OG Blu-ray.
as in like the PS2, or
It
you mean
was
like
it was the
type
it was the origin of the Blu-ray. Like that's
uh,
where the disc was
yeah.
going to with the Blu-ray.
Hey, how about that? Makes sense.
The more you know.
uh,
So what was the first PlayStation system you had?
technically, I did not have a PlayStation. My brother had a PlayStation, and he got one for Christmas one year. So that's how I got the first play. I didn't get mine literally until the day the PS2 came out.
Oh shit.
Because that the same day that came out, the PS1 came out,
Ah,
small white one. So
okay.
that was my first actually mine PlayStation system. But I've been playing it for, I guess, what was that, like 4 years before that? Because
Yeah,
PS2 came out in '99.
yeah.
So
So
yeah,
almost 5 years.
yes. So yeah, I had the
Mine's
system, but I had a bunch of games before I had the system.
yeah. Mine's was I did like odd jobs for people and my
Mm-hmm.
mom's building and whatnot. And the one thing I wanted to get was a new system, and I was hearing so much shit about the PlayStation, and my friend got a Saturn, and the Saturn was cool, but I was hearing so much better things about the PlayStation and stuff like that. And I remember seeing it in the store, and I made about almost $400 in the
Mm-hmm.
summertime. And then when they came out, I was like, I know what I want to buy, and I bought the PS4, the PlayStation. I bought the PlayStation with Twisted Metal, and
Was it a pack or did you buy it separate?
no, I bought it separate. So I got
Okay.
the system with Twisted Metal, and I got uh, I think it was Loaded.
Wow. I never played Loaded or
Which was
Reloaded. Never
I
played either one of those.
Yeah, I think it was the top-down shooter kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was
Was it
that.
like a really gory Smash TV?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I got those two games,
Gotcha.
and that was my first PlayStation games and stuff like that. And I remember playing that system. It was unique for its time, and it was my go-to. I got it modded. I got it modded. I learned once I learned the bootlegs and the easy ways to play games and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I figure out my ways to do things, and I got cool with people that used to do the bootlegs and shit. I used to compete with them.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay. Cool, cool, cool.
yeah,
I mean, I didn't really have too much stuff. I mean, shout outs to Chinatown. You
yeah,
know, we miss you.
yeah,
But and those times I didn't really mess with it because again, I didn't have my own system, so I couldn't.
yeah,
So when it was still the big gray one, I couldn't actually indulge in that. I have friends. Shout out to one of my best friends, Arnold. He had his done,
yeah,
and so we were able to play mad Japanese. Like, so we didn't really buy too many bootleg regular games, American games. What we bought was a bunch of Japanese games.
yeah.
That's how we got to play. I think it's Dragon Ball Super Battle 22, something like that. It was one of those weird ones.
Oh yeah,
That
with
never
Battle
came out.
22, it was Legends, and it was
Yeah,
GT, and GT was doo doo.
yeah. GT was awful.
Yeah,
I mean, shout outs to trying to pioneer being one of the first 3D Dragon Ball games.
yeah,
Sure, it just wasn't good. But Battle 22 was awesome.
yeah,
Like, it was super faithful. It kept a lot of every fight was literally you had to recreate the fights from the cartoon at the time.
yeah,
And for us in America, the show didn't go up to a certain point. It only went up to Frieza.
yeah,
So that game went to the end of the series because the end of the series had already happened in Japan.
yeah.
This was before GT was a thing. Well, I think that game was like out a little before GT was a thing. because again, here and there, we saw GT way later. But it had like up to Boo, and I'm just like, what is that? Like I didn't know what that was. I didn't know who Boo was, so that was a shock to me to see that character actually.
Yeah.
And Cell too. We didn't see Cell yet
Okay.
because the last thing we saw was Frieza. At the time rather. So yeah, a lot of fond memories, but a lot of just like stuff you normally wouldn't see because of that. Like we had lots of weird imports, and we just played them that way. Like a lot of stuff. You know what it was? Also, you can get games early because of the thing I just talked about, the localization.
Yeah.
So you would literally be playing a game 3 months early.
Yeah. Like I remember Biohazard. When I first played Biohazard 3, it already had the subtitles, so I was able to play the Japanese one.
See, that's the thing. A lot of the games like that. We didn't play Resident Evil because that was in Japanese for the first 2.
Yeah.
And that was before we knew anything about how to read Japanese.
Yeah.
So we weren't messing with that. But like a lot of little things did come out, like Tekkens and stuff like that. So I guess we could just go through from time period to time period and give a little bit of our experiences. So with the backstory of how we got the systems, you want to go first, Mark? What were your
PlayStation? So PlayStation one thing that really sold that kind of like threw me off was the controller.
Okay.
It was a different. To this day, the controller is still the same. It's still the first like controller, just modded and changed incredibly because we didn't get the analog sticks to like later on in the console when Gran Turismo came out.
Yes, that was the game that introduced it.
Yeah, because we didn't before that we didn't have no analog sticks, and I don't know where games will be without the analog sticks anymore.
You be pressing left and right trigger like in Mega Man Legends.
God,
because I remember that. Yeah. Still a good game, but I remember having to do that.
Yeah. So with that system and all, the whole memory card thing and everything like that, like there was a lot of things you had to do for that system. Like you needed a memory card, and this is the first one that you actually needed to get memory in order to play a game.
That's true.
Because Sega had it built in.
Yes, there was a RAM cartridge you could have memory on it.
Exactly, and that's
if you had the bootleg thing, I forgot what that was called.
Yeah,
the special one that lets you play Japanese games without modding this. Man, they had all types of stuff back in.
Yeah, but so PlayStation did not have any memory inside, so basically you had to buy memory cards and everything like that, and they were about $20, $30 a piece at one point. So like memory card was scarce. Like you needed one, and that was the one you used, and you delete games, and you're like, damn, I gotta delete this and play that. I miss the little icons, the memory icons.
Yeah, I love those.
I hope like PS5 brings them back, just like for your save data, and just have those little icons. That would be kind of cool.
That would be preferable to anything, because now your data just doesn't feel like anything.
Yeah, it's just the name of it and everything like that. I would like the little icons just to pay homage to it and whatnot. But PlayStation 1. There's a lot of great games. There was a lot of games on it. That was one thing. Like there was a shit ton of games on there.
Yeah, and it was
a lot of bad ones.
Like we said, it was because of when it came out and the time period between that and PS2.
Yeah,
it had a good while to build up a library too. Not as long as today when you think about it. It only had 5 years.
Yeah.
Now the last life cycle for PS4 is not 10 yet, is it? No, because it's still in the teens. But it will be. It almost will be. Yeah. Like, how old is PS4?
It's like 6 years old? Is about 5 years old. No, 4 years old.
No, it's a little older than that because Destiny was like, no, because I remember Destiny was when I bought it, and it was a year after the system came out. So that was like 2015, 16.
It's about 5 years.
Yes, almost exactly. So, and it's going on, as we know, with the announcement that PS5 will be 2020.
Yeah.
The end of the year. I wouldn't be surprised. Listen, right now I'm calling it out. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a delay. because it's coming out at the end of the year. They said wintertime 2020.
Yeah.
I think it might slip into January, February. I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't see them releasing it so far from the holiday season.
But I think if they have any, well, you know what? Who knows? Maybe they've been working on it for God knows how long since this 4 came out, and it's damn near perfect. So
Yeah.
hey, could
I don't see it coming out like after the holiday season. I see it coming out like within the holiday season.
so they're gonna stick to their word, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, I think that if they don't stick to their word, it'll be the following holiday season.
No, they can't wait a whole year.
They're not gonna release anything in the first quarter.
Why?
System
Why would
wise,
they do that?
you
They
just
wouldn't
don't.
wait till the next quarter.
Yeah, you just don't. You just don't release a system in the beginning of the quarter. You want games. You want to have all the games and releasing with it. Usually November is the hot month that all the games come out.
Mm-hmm.
So you want the system to come out with the games and everything like that.
But I think they already said December is the launch month. No, 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 no. If I remember correctly, I think Giant Bomb literally mentioned that they want to see what's coming up in November of next. It was a weird question. Somebody asked him if you could see
Yeah.
into the future with a podcast, what time would you go to? And one of them said, I want to go to November next year. So yeah.
I will say if we don't hear nothing about it early 2020, I'll say October, November next year.
Mm,
If not, I think you won't see it until next fall.
got you.
Yeah, because that's where everyone's prepping for holidays and stuff like that, and I think that's where most systems will come out during that time.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I see that. They again, this is the business of making money.
Yep.
So exactly what it is. So wow. We were both completely wrong.
Yeah.
PS4 came out in 2013.
2013. Okay.
Yes, it's older than we thought. So yeah.
Well, yeah, because the Pro kind of misjudged my mentality with it as well.
True that. But like I said, Destiny was my marker, so I knew it was a year before. Okay, so all right. Man, I hope it doesn't look like that fucking V. I hope the 5 doesn't look like that. Please don't.
Yeah.
Don't do that. I mean, listen, if you mean to tell me it looks like a spaceship and it makes no noise, I'm in. And it never fucking crashes, I'm in.
It's always the first
But-
systems that make all the noise, though.
But I don't want my system to look like a damn what is that?
I don't even know.
Ugh.
Watch them call it.
Anyway, back to the PlayStation 1. So, we had a little history with when we got it and the unscrupulous ways people used to use these systems.
Yeah.
But so my question to you, Mark, do you have some favorites? Because that's what I want to talk about this cast.
I'll give 5.
Is so let's
'Cause, like,
if
Big
you,
E,
if
we
you
like
have
5.
again, I don't want to make you say an amount if you don't have it, but yes, let's go for 5.
Like Big E, he likes 5. We gonna do 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I gotta listen to the song. I never heard his theme song,
Oh, it was cool.
and they were talking about it. They said 3 is not enough. I
Yeah.
need to hear it. You know what? That's gonna be the song for this
Yes.
episode.
We gonna get 5 top 5s of all the PlayStation games.
Top 5s.
So my number 1, hands down, would be Metal Gear Solid. I probably put the most hours into that fucking game.
Okay.
I
Amazing.
played it every other way. I beat on every single difficulty. I love that game.
Did you ever play the VR missions?
Yeah, and I also got it when it came with the VR Mitches as well. But I didn't like that game as much as I like the Metal Gear Solid.
Oh man, I feel like that's underrated because of what it was. But I'll give you a little history of me with the VR missions that made me change my mind on it. Did you ever play Substance?
Yeah.
First one, the
Yeah.
first on number 2.
Yeah.
The first one had a weird name. Did you play that version of Metal Gear 2?
Yes,
Did you ever play the VR missions in that game?
that was fun.
Though you see, okay, you know about those.
Yeah, those were fun. Like,
crazy.
you had like a giant soldier and shit. That you had like a fucking.
Okay,
It
yeah.
reminded me, honestly, that shit reminded me of the Batman, the fucking
Yeah, with the
Scarecrow
joke.
missions.
Scarecrow, yeah. So, did you know that some of those wacky missions were in the VR one, but only the one with the disc only.
Oh, okay.
The separate game, not the one that was on the actual disc with, when you bought Metal Gear Solid 1,
No, like I
certain
remember.
version
Yeah.
had a certain version had it on the disc.
Yeah, it was a separate game. It was called Metal Gear VR missions.
No, no, no. So there's VR missions in Metal Gear, but it's not as many. They made more.
No, it's a separate game. It's called VR missions.
No, no, I'm saying I understand that.
Yeah.
But in Metal Gear Solid, there are VR missions for you
Yeah,
to
I
play.
remember that.
But there's not that many. There's like 25.
Yeah.
And I think at the end you unlock something.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but the VR missions, the game's separate.
Yeah.
That actually it had some of those really weird ass missions, like not exactly to the scale of the giant dinosaur
Yeah.
guard as Godzilla. That's still one of my favorite things.
Yeah,
And
that was awesome.
that's hilarious. But it did have some of that wacky stuff in it.
Yeah.
And you could play as the ninja.
Yeah.
That was another thing. They let you play as the ninja.
That was a big reason why I played it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you know if you could start as him, or did you have to unlock him?
Nah, he was there in the beginning of the game.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay. Damn. Is that on PSN?
Probably not. I'm not sure.
Yeah. That's RIP. Anyway. All right, Mark. So
Probably not.
MGS1.
MGS1, Spider-Man for PS1. I fucking love that game.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the most funniest Spider-Man games I ever played.
Yes, it is.
Venom
Very
was
good.
such a fun character.
Oh, he really was. The
Can
voice
you get us
super
Captain
good.
America's autograph? That's something I remember clearly with that.
Oh, yeah.
Spider-Man. Tekken 3 was hands down one of my favorite fighting games on there. Another game, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I know it was for Saturn, but I only played it on PS1, so it's only a PS1 game to me.
So there's a weird thing with that game.
Yeah.
Apparently, the PS1 is a better version of the game.
Yeah.
The Saturn version actually has performance issues, because I have a friend who went out of his way. That's the only reason he initially bought a Saturn.
Yeah.
Once he learned that the Symphony of the Night had a secret area and a whole other, like a part of the castle you can go to,
Yeah.
that was like not in the PlayStation version at all, he was like, "Yo, I got to get that."
Yeah.
And so he got it, and then he was telling me, "Man, it's not that. Don't do it." Because I was thinking about doing the same thing, because there's like a few little things that are like you could run in that game, which you couldn't in the regular one. Like there's a few little things, but then he's like, "Nah, it's not enough for it to be better. Not enough for you to buy a whole system." So
So that's 3 or 4?
I think that's 4. He said Metal Gear Solid 1,
Metal Gear Solid 1, Spider-Man, Tekken,
Tekken 3.
Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I was really big into the fighting games during that time, and another fighting game that kind of like kicked the door down. I liked the Alpha 2 and I liked the Alpha 1, but when Alpha 3 came out, that shit fucking killed it.
That was a big one. And like I would take my memory card to my friend's house and we would play with special characters and shit. Like that was fun.
Yeah, so Alpha 3, I spent a lot of time on Alpha 3, so I'll give Alpha 3 my 5th spot.
Okay, good stuff. So let me run down, because I wanted to get most of the stuff I still have accessible so I could look at it, because it's hard to remember this stuff.
Oh yeah, I have a shitty memory too.
So I'll go from 5 to 1.
Okay.
5th, I would say Final Fantasy 7. And the way I played that game was a pretty cool thing. Like my uncle on my mother's side, he actually had the game, and it was weird. He had the strategy guide, but didn't have the game.
Okay.
So,
well, you were planning to buy it?
No. I think it was. I think because it came out. I think he just didn't know about it, maybe.
Yeah.
And he was just like, "Oh, I just wanted to see it because I wanted to get into a Final Fantasy, but I'm gonna buy a strategy guide first, maybe." So I had. Oh no! Okay. Here's what it was. He brought the game over one day. I had the strategy guide because, again, I didn't own the system.
Yeah.
But my friend, he owned the game, and I played it with him. So I bought the strategy guide because I was going to buy the game soon. What ended up happening between that game and Symphony of the Night was one night I was playing Final Fantasy VII in the beginning, and he came over and he was like, "Oh, okay, I want to get that game too. Let me borrow your book." So for my book, I lent him my strategy guide, and he lent me Symphony of the Night.
Okay.
So I ended up with just like two awesome games in a super short period of time. Like I never paid for it, and he never took it back. I still have his copy of the game.
Yeah.
Um, but that's how I ended up playing Symphony of the Night, and that bled into Final Fantasy VII.
Okay.
So those are intertwined. But I remember playing Final Fantasy VII, and it was just like I've never played anything like this before. Like a game that went on for that long, had that much story. That was actually kind of funny.
Yeah.
And mind you, I never played anything on Super Nintendo. I didn't have a Super Nintendo, so I never played Final Fantasy 3, which was actually Final Fantasy 6 in Japan, and then Final Fantasy 2 was actually like. And then you find out the numbers are messed up on Super Nintendo in America.
Yeah.
So there's that whole thing. But like, I never played Final Fantasy except on Game Boy.
Okay.
That's like the worst way to play. And then you find out that Final Fantasy game I played was actually another game. Like in Japan, it's not even a Final Fantasy game. So it's all weird. Anyway, so number 5 is Final Fantasy 7. Like I know it today, it's everybody's screaming, jumps up and down, blah blah blah. But if you play at the time and you were into it, it was just a different thing, you know. So it couldn't be overrated for the time when that many people were playing it for the first time. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that goes. Number 4, I would say is, and it's hard too because I want to say Alpha 3.
Yeah.
Because I play that game a lot. But you know when I played more? Tekken 3.
Yeah.
I had so much fun, and you know what? To be honest, I still listen to Tekken 3 soundtrack to this
Oh,
day.
that was probably one of
Tekken
the best
3
soundtracks too.
has one of the best soundtracks in any fighting game. Period. It's so good, dude. And that's like one of the things I like about PlayStation in general. It it was, and well, I can't say the first because of Saturn, but for the time, it was one of the first game consoles to have CD quality music.
Yeah.
That wasn't an super expensive 3DO. I fucking hate that system. Because who the hell are you to come out with a system that's like damn near $700 and that times money? You know what I'm saying? It was like something, and which it, you know, like with inflation and shit, it's like $700. I'm like, who the hell did you think you were? You had no. Anyway, screw them. But apparently they had an arcade perfect version of Samurai Showdown. Go figure. And Super Turbo, which never came out on PlayStation. It had like the anniversary version, but it wasn't arcade perfect.
Yeah.
Anyways, Tekken 3 was godlike back then, still godlike today. Like, if you have the PlayStation Classic, it's on there. Play it. That's my number 4. Number 3 for me is Star Ocean 2. I don't know if you ever played any of the Star Oceans, but
I was never a big RPG person, so most of the RPGs I didn't play till later on.
Gotcha. So it's back in the day. I guess it wasn't a JRPG. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It was an action RPG. It shares a lineage with the Tales games.
Okay.
I think some people in those companies probably crossed over back and forth back in the days at Namco and then Square. So like there's even items that come over in those games, which is interesting.
Yeah.
But I played so much of that game because it was so playable. It was not like an RPG where you sit there and wait for your turn. You had to move your character around. You had to like dodge attacks and stuff. And like it was, again, for the time, it was one of the only games that was doing that.
Oh, okay.
At a high level, it had really good music. It had voice acting in it, which is another thing. Like it had the benefit of actually having voiced characters. It had animated cutscenes in it. Again, like they went all out. I didn't know about the pedigree of Star Ocean because it was on Super Nintendo. Again, didn't have a Super Nintendo. But whoever was making that game, they really gave a shit. Enix, that was before it was Square Enix. That's also another thing. Before they were eaten by Square. Really good game. I don't know if you can get it anywhere. Oh, it's on PSP actually.
Okay.
And actually they just released a remaster of the first game, I think. They need to remaster the second one on PS4. That's super recent. So that's number 3. Number 2, it's hard to pick between number 1 and 2. Because I really like Mega Man Legends. I want to put that in the list, but um, number 2 I would say is Symphony of the Night
Symphony of the Night. Okay.
because of the soundtrack, because of all those items in that game, like all the secrets. I didn't know about the upside down castle.
Hmm.
I remember beating it and just thinking that was it. And then I found out about the castle and I was like, get the fuck out of here. That's like the coolest extra bonus in any video game. Like seriously, I don't to this day, I don't think there's a bigger bonus. Like, hey guy, you beat the game. Guess what? There's another game in here. What? It's just another castle? Are you serious? Um, like that, the the sprite work in that game is super good. Still holds up to this day. The layout of the map being interesting, like, is just. I still think it's the best Castlevania game.
Yeah. I think
Um,
hands down. Yeah.
like even though the ones on Advance,
Yeah, those
you
are
know, the
good
ones
too.
on DS, specifically DS, were very very good. But I still like that one better. Number 1 game, and I've played on the Red Cyclonic YouTube a little bit. It's another RPG, Saga Frontier.
Okay.
I didn't get to go too much into it, unfortunately, because the disc I have is not. It wasn't my disc. I don't even know where mine is. It was like my brother had it, and it's all scratched up. So I can't play past a certain point with the character. So unfortunately, as of right now, I can't make further videos with that game. That sucks. Um, but okay, you know how I like Super Sentai
Yeah.
a lot, and I don't care where you put a Super Sentai. I'm gonna pay attention to it. If you put a Super Sentai in wrestling, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna look at it. If you put a Super Sentai in a movie, I'm gonna look at it. In a comic book, etc., etc. And so, one of the main characters in this game, I didn't know it at the time, but now I put two and two together. You, in the beginning of the game, your father's a scientist, and he knows some stuff about some shady people. So they take him out, and there's a hero that finds you, like, it's a car wreck. You were driving with him. They knocked your car off the road, so you survive. Your pops doesn't, and the hero finds you because he's chasing the evil organization,
Yeah.
and he sees you and sees your he sees the circumstances. He says to you, "What I'm going to do is give you the powers, but you can never use them for evil. As soon as you use them for revenge, for anything other than just revenge, you're going to die." And so he gives you super sentai powers, and your character can turn. And then so it unlocks this cool mechanic in the game where you start out as that character, and you essentially go through the world and recruit other characters, and you can have like this giant party of up to, like, you can only have 5 in battle at a time, but you can have up to like 15 characters in your total party. um so it rewards exploring and stuff, and like the world is interconnected. It's not like an open world game, but it tries to be.
Yeah.
um but the cool mechanic they put in the game is, as long as your teammates are human or are alive, you cannot use your super sentai powers,
Okay.
because they can't. Oh, the other caveat is, if anybody finds out your secret identity, you die.
Okay.
So he tells you, like, he gives you the guy gives you a bunch of things. He's like, if you do this, you die. If you do this, you die. If you do this, you die. So, like, part of the whole thing is, you can never enter the party with the Super Saiyan abilities as long as people are alive in your party. So it's kind of cool how they program that into a game like that with so many characters, but they distinguish who's human and who's not, who's alive and who's not, because you can actually recruit like robots.
Okay.
So that's one of the first party members is a robot, because you're on a ship. Like, it's a weird game too, because it takes place in like this this futuristic timeline, but it has like old school elements, like a brewery and all types of like it's super eclectic. Um, but it didn't really get popular because it was every character story was a little linear because the environments were reused because of the technology for the time. You can only do so much, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that's what it was. But that's one of my favorite games. Like that again, the soundtrack to that game, super good. Super good. Um I would give shout outs to 3 games. I don't want to give too many more.
Mm.
Legend of Mana, because that's an awesome game, also a Square game, but it's an action RPG and less of an RPG and more of an action adventure game
Yeah.
that had co-ops. And in most of the games that had co-op, that's how me and my homie bonded. We just I went to his house and we just played those for hours on it. So that game was awesome and let you customize weapons and stuff. Cool. Armored Core started on PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
I love that game. I love the soundtrack, but I cannot argue that you had to fight with the controls. Like if you didn't learn the controls to mastery, it was just a mess to play. And I know a lot of people bounced off of it. So I love it. But it has its little caveat. And 3 would be Alpha 3
Okay.
because Alpha 3 is Alpha 3. So now we can move on to PS2, which
PlayStation
that's
2.
harder. Dude, that's harder.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah,
games.
because a lot of it changed and everything like that. Hmm. I think well my number one was straight up be Snake Eater, Metal Gear 3.
Solid 3. Okay.
I think that game was just a beautiful fucking game.
A little bit of a difference. Did you play Subsistence or no?
I play Subsistence. It's just that I think Metal Gear 3, I think story wise and just the style, and I think it kind of changed the game up completely with the trees and you having to eat for resources and shit like that. It was a whole different game.
Yeah, I only bring up Subsistence because they changed the control scheme. Because
Yeah.
apparently, it would if you played the original version of MGS3, it had the camera was stuck overhead.
Yeah.
I didn't because when I bought the special, well, I had it, so I had to have known that.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably didn't just not have cared.
Yeah.
But apparently, the game is played in a certain perspective. It's like fixed camera angles for everything.
Yeah.
If you bought Subsistence and played it, they actually made the camera you able to be controlled
Yeah.
in a more free-flowing way, which is interesting.
Yeah. So I have that as my number one. My number two is tied
Okay.
because I can't pick one out of the two because one I preference the style and story, and the other one I just preference what it did for the game. So Grand Theft
Oh,
Auto
okay.
Vice City and San Andreas is tied for number two.
Okay.
I think again everything that San Andreas did was unique and really strong, but Vice City just the style, the music, and everything in that. Just I love that game so much in that sense.
I have never played San Andreas.
You never played San
I
Andreas?
but I never have. I just never had it.
Yeah, it was such a good game. You should try it. You should try to find it and play it.
I've seen clips. It's funny. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
Sam Jackson is hilarious in that game. The guy, Big Smoke.
yeah,
Like I know about Big Smoke. He's hilarious.
yeah.
Oh, CJ.
Look like Jenkins.
Yeah. Yeah, man. You can have that character, you know.
Will be my number three. My number three will be. Damn, it's hard. You know what? I didn't play that on the PlayStation 2, so I'm not gonna count it. The first one. You know what? I'll go with Jack and Dexter.
Okay.
I love platformers. I love good platformers. That game was such a good story, such a fun game. And then another one is gonna be will be number four, which will be Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal,
Okay.
which was a fun hell of game. Probably one of the funnest characters that PlayStation made in that time.
Wait,
And
which
they
one?
had some good ones.
I know they have multiple games.
It was Up Your Arsenal. It was called.
No, I mean, you know if that's the first one, the second one.
That was the third one.
Oh, okay.
Because it was Ratchet and Clank, then the Ratchet and Clank Going Commando,
Yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, okay.
and then it was Up Your Arsenal. those games were great. I like the whole series of games and everything like that. And then I'll say the last one on the PS2 stuff that I played and I probably spent the most time on was
Mm-hmm.
SmackDown versus Raw.
Okay, gotcha.
2006 or it was 2005. I don't fucking remember. No, it was no. I think it was Here Comes the Pain. Yeah, it was Here Comes the Pain because that was the one that was before 360, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. It
So
was.
Here Comes the Pain.
Okay,
I think that would be number 5.
good stuff. Good stuff. Just some clarification because I didn't get the date right. Uh, PS2 was announced in '99. It came out in 2000.
Yep.
For Japan, it was March 4th. For North America, it was October 26th. I remember that too.
We're
Um,
in Dreamcast time.
no, okay. I remember the date when the second version came out.
Okay.
Not the slim. PS2 still had the regular fat version, but there was something internal that was different.
Yeah.
So I remember buying the second version like the day it came out.
Okay.
And like I remember going to like I think it was a Best Buy because
I
I
bought
didn't
mine's in
at all,
Chinatown.
which is in Chinatown. Okay, okay.
Then China the Elizabeth Center Mall.
Yes,
I bought
yes.
mine's in there
I
because
bought my
the guy modded it for free and did everything I needed it for free.
yeah. Okay, that's where I got my Dreamcast from.
I got my Dreamcast from there too.
Most of the legit games I got from that store, and most of the bootleg ones I got from another store, not too far.
Yeah. Yeah, it
But
was
yeah.
on Mott Street.
Oh,
I know the
okay.
bootlegs, but I knew the guy. He went to high school with me.
Oh,
He
okay.
was like a senior when I was a junior.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Like that. So I got really cool with him. He used to give me games for free. I'll buy like 3 games. He'll give me 2 for free.
Okay, we
Like
got cool. We got cool with the anime guys.
yeah,
So we would get free tapes if you bought a few. Like you buy two, you get like one free.
yeah. I got cool with them too. I bartered with everybody in Chinatown.
Yeah, I mean, you could. That was the cool thing
Yeah.
about it. You could.
I felt like I
So,
was bartering with everybody, and I
but
got
then
stuff.
again, you gotta remember you in the black market. So
Yeah,
technically, you're not paying Toei for these animes. No.
exactly. But I used to. That's how I got into anime too. Like I missed those anime movies, like just the standalone movies. I thought they were so much better.
Yeah, I think so as well. Oh, I think they were. Maybe it was probably just the product of the time because it was like they weren't trying to pump them out.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? There's something to that.
yeah. Because I've seen it. Like I usually just let the guy pick. Like yo, pick some random shit for me. I don't care. Just
Mm,
he knew the styles I liked and shit, so he would just pick a couple movies. Like hey, you might like this, so I'll throw this in for you because I'm picking this for you. And
gotcha.
he'll give me, and then I'll line up buying that series. I'm like, damn, that was good. I gotta get the rest of the series done.
Mm,
I had
mm.
so many like blank videotapes in my house because then it's all anime. And then he started getting into DVDs, and it was just like, they got expensive, and it was just like that. I
See,
can't waste
at
them.
DVD, okay, the store I mentioned, Internet Entertainment Outlet,
Mhm.
at DVD time, that's when I used to buy anime from them
Yeah.
because they have it dirt cheap. It used to be like $10,
Yeah.
$15 for like the bigger ones that had like 2 discs and stuff. Like it was
Yeah.
that place was godsend for movies and stuff.
Yeah.
So my 5 for PS2, um, number 5, Star Ocean 3. That game again, awesome. Like 2 made me a fan and made me keep a watch out for any more in the series.
Okay.
That game is amazing. If you like action RPGs, they remastered it. Like I have it on PS4. Um, but like it's really good. Super good combat system, and it had so much replay value because it had like an almost not an infinite dungeon, but it had like an in-game dungeon that was
Okay.
like super long and hard as shit. Um, Number 4, Tekken Tag Tournament 2. That game, oh, it's so good. Like Tekken 3 was amazing, and then when I saw in the arcade that they made a tag version of it, which is basically Tekken Tag, because they were continuing with it, and they were following, I guess, the trend of what was it, Capcom, right? With Marvel vs. Because what was the first one? X vs. Street Fighter.
Yeah.
So on the PlayStation, that game was already out. And what they had X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel Super Heroes vs. Street Fighter, and Marvel vs. Capcom on PlayStation 1. Don't buy them. You couldn't switch. But we didn't have a Saturn at the time, and so we did. So we had to deal with it. But like Tag 2, dude, I still think that's probably one of the best Tekken games ever made.
Yeah.
Like, it's so balanced. It's so much fun. Again, the music is really good.
I think what threw me off on that game is the fact that the storyline, the story mode wasn't really there.
Yeah, it was not focused on the story.
So that kind of threw me off the game because Tekken 3 and their story I fucking loved, and then going into that, it was just a fight gameplay. It felt like the arcade more than anything.
Mm-hmm. And it had weird, but it was the first one to have Tekken Bowling.
Yeah.
Not the other one, the bowling.
Yeah.
I still like the end music though, the credits music to that game. That's
Yeah.
probably a few games where I just like the credits music. How do you make the credits music godlike?
Yeah.
So that's number 4. Number 3, I would say, yeah, it's hard. And I guess maybe I'll do what you did and have a tie.
Yeah.
Because they're really good. Tenchu Fatal Shadows and Tenchu Wrath of Heaven.
Okay.
Again, Tenchu gets a bad rap because it's a control thing. I think that's a FromSoft issue because internally they're made by FromSoft, but one was published by Sega and one was published by Activision.
Okay.
Which interestingly enough, if you know about that deal, that's why Sekiro is published by Activision.
Okay.
Because Sekiro was actually a Tenchu game.
Okay.
So
yeah, I knew that going into it.
And that's why it's like, why is this published by Activision? Like, that's why. Probably one of my favorite stealth games. I like Fatal Shadows better control wise because they streamlined how the character moved. Because in the first game you had 3 characters, one was secret, but the female character was a faster character, more agile. The male character was a bigger, heavier character.
Yeah.
And the secret character was kind of a mix of the two, at least speed wise, but on foot he was actually really slow. But it's just something about like the story of that game because they have a story, not just run around killing people with no story. Yeah. And that's one of the only games I've ever seen that it has multiple voice tracks.
Okay.
So in Tenchu Wrath of Heaven, and when you beat the game, you unlock like the B-side. And what the B-side was literally a blooper reel put into the game in the game story. Okay. So the guards and stuff would say hilarious stuff when they stand around because they have lines for idle animations. Like, guards are standing at their post. They'll start talking to each other or they'll talk to themselves or something. And then they just gave them ridiculous stuff to say. My favorite one is just this guard goes, my feet smell like cheese. It's just like, what the fuck is that? Yo, that game had if you've never seen it, like I'll post them in the Red Cyclone link for this podcast. You have to see the B-side dialogue for this game. It's really dumb and it's really well done. Like that's like an original thing that I think is just like nobody does that anymore, period.
Yeah.
So that's my tie for 3.
Okay.
Number 2, is hard. It's hard. It's super hard to choose this. But Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition.
Okay.
Like I was one of the people who played the first one and I didn't think it was that hard.
Yeah.
So I was kind of surprised when they made it because the original version of the game did not have Virgil. Okay. So technically, if you only played that, if you only ended up playing the first one, which I don't think most people did, because if you played that game, you knew about it. And if you knew that there was a special one, you were going to get the special one anyway. But you missed out on a completely different character. And then you had the normal difficulty. That was the controversy about the game, was that the normal difficulty was actually Japanese. The Japanese version's hard.
Yeah.
Because in Japan, a lot of people don't know this about Japanese games. Their normal setting is usually easy for us because their games are just made. They don't really have that need to play hard, difficult games.
Yeah.
And they thought that Americans only wanted to play difficult games. Like that was straight up a thought process from Japan. They thought Americans only like difficult games. Um, and this was one of those games that showed that. So apparently, it was so difficult they had to make a special edition version of the game, and I'm glad they did because it was awesome. And Virgil is the man.
Yeah.
He spawned his. He was a meme before memes existed.
Okay.
I need more power. You know the whole
Yeah.
deal. Um, and number one, and it's still one of my favorite games to this day, Monster Hunter.
All right.
And it's unfortunate because most people didn't play because again, it was another hard ass game.
Yeah.
But like you see it now, Monster Hunter is the shit, baby. Everybody wants to play that. So, like I'm glad they refined the formula to a place that people can play it now. But like I remember when Rathalos was a dick and killed you all the time.
Yeah.
So, yes, that's my top five. Again, I have special mentions to Onimusha 3 for having what I think is still to this day the best cutscene on PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
That opening cutscene is so dope. I is it why is it so good? I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe John Renault paid a little bit extra money. He's like, listen, if I'm going to be in the game, you got to go all out.
Exactly. That's where it should be.
But yeah, like shout outs to that game. Shout outs to God Hand, another hard ass game.
Yeah.
I got a 2.8 from GameSpot. What is it? IGN?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't trust you. I don't trust that guy. Whoever he was, you know who you are.
Yeah.
But yes. And also shout outs to the HD loader. Piracy was not dead on the PS2. Did you know that if you own the PS2 hard drive and you bought something called the HD loader, you could load games onto that? So you could borrow a friend's game, load it onto your hard drive, and give them their game back.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty good until it stopped working. So whatever.
Yeah.
So, but it was good. I got to play like Okami like that. I got to play a few games that I just didn't have that my friends did like that.
That works.
But I was also a maniac that bought the HD thing and tried to play Final Fantasy 11.
Yeah.
I didn't get too far. I'm glad I got my money's worth though. So I'm just gonna put that out there.
So the next system, PS3.
PS3?
So PS3
A
was a
little
big. I'll say this is the. I think this is the Sony low point.
Hold on, let me just get the date. So it came out on November 11th, 2006 in Japan, and in America.
A week later.
Wow, yeah, it was only a week later. Cool.
Yeah.
So as we were talking about earlier, you see the gap was closing.
But you see the price tag, and that was the big thing that really hit. That this is what really hit the market as an Xbox to control of this generation wise of 360 wise, because 360 was more accessible and affordable. This one was expensive as shit.
It was understandably, it was because of the Blu-ray thing.
Yeah.
But their marketing message at the time was terrible.
Yeah.
The guy stood on stage and was like, "People will pay extra. People will get 2 jobs just to play PlayStation 3." And that clip went in a time of like the burgeoning internet, because that's 2006. YouTube was already a thing.
Yeah.
That came out. That was out there to the world, and everybody heard that, and people were like, "Shut the fuck up!" And then that system flopped.
Yeah.
For the most part.
So with PS3, so this is the thing with PS3 and most people's like top 5 games for PS3. I did not really play PS3. I was more on the 360, and most of the games that I currently like in that generation I played on 360, like Mass Effect 2 and 3.
Yeah, most of them. Yep.
Yeah. So
Same here.
Mass Effect will be a top game, but I did not play it on PlayStation. I played it on Xbox 360. Because that was probably hands down my favorite game, Mass Effect 2, during that time.
I get.
But I played enough, so I have like a little top 5. But to this day, like I was very disappointed with the PS3. I did not like the system, even when I actually owned it. I really didn't like the system.
I didn't. It wasn't special. It was basically the extension. The only reason I really liked it was because of is what they tried to do with the Vita.
Yeah.
But I think they at least didn't give up.
Yeah.
And if you played PS3 with PSP, like there was a lot of extra stuff there.
Yeah.
Because I actually was one of the people who used the remote play. It worked. It wasn't good for fighting games because I tried that. I tried that. That was a mistake, but you could do it.
Yeah.
So just for that simple fact that they had a lot of things extra to it, I got into it, but I didn't buy it until like man, like 3 years after it came out.
Yeah, I got it like dirt cheap. Like I paid maybe 150 for my PS3,
Yeah, I think I
and that
played
was
200.
the slim version.
See, I know I got mine before it was slim, so I still had the big one. I bought it when Metal Gear Solid 4 came out. That's
Okay.
the only reason I bought the system. I remember now. That was the reason I bought. I wasn't gonna buy one until that game came out. I literally sat there, and then I got jerked around on buying the special edition one because I was willing to pay all that money
Yeah.
for the special one because I knew it was going to be worth something. The dude was like, "No, those were pre-orders." No, and I'm like, they just sat there. It turns out nobody bought them, and I was so because nobody knew they had them. I was so pissed. The dude just lied to me. I was so pissed.
Yeah.
So I didn't get the cool gunmetal. Uh, what's the name of that game? What's the name of Metal Gear? What's Guns of the Patriots
Yeah.
version? So I didn't get that.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, there's a lot of games that I really didn't really play on
Yeah,
PS3.
but I don't want to dookie on it. So
Yeah.
just give me your five.
My five, I say number one. Well, I'll do it from five down. Number five was the Ratchet and Clank. I think Into the Future or something like that. It's the first one that came out on
Okay.
PS3. I actually really liked the Ratchet and Clank game, so that was one of my favorite ones.
Mm-hmm.
I just had it here. Number four. Um, Number four will be Uncharted One.
Okay.
I really enjoyed that game. I love the series. I kind of went through them again on PS4 with the collector's edition, but Uncharted One really stood out. That was something that I really wanted to play on PS3. Kind of got
Mm-hmm.
me to get it. On that sense. So that'll be number four. Number three will be, I'll say Street Fighter Four, the
Okay.
arcade edition.
Got you. Got you.
Actually, no. You know what? I actually liked just because the song in the beginning. I liked Street Fighter Four itself, like in general, just for that opening. I liked the opening. That song was fucking awesome.
I love it. Indestructible.
Indestructible was fucking amazing. Why didn't they keep that song? It pissed me off.
It was too good. They can't play it. People get
Yeah,
too hyped.
exactly, man.
It's too strong.
And you know what? I'm missing a lot of big titles
Did you
again.
know the original version of that song has Flow Rider in it?
Yeah, I hope not.
No, it does. The original version of that song has Flow
Yeah,
Rider. The one
I'm glad to
we
hear
got,
that.
they didn't put the rap part in the game.
Thank God. I think I wouldn't like it. And the sad thing is, like a lot of the big games on here, I'm looking at this countdown and whatnot. Like
Mm,
again, I played on 360. I didn't play on PS4, PS3. My number two will be God of. No, actually, my number two will be Last of Us.
okay.
I did play it. I think that was the last game I played on PS3, and then my number one would be Uncharted 2.
Gotcha. Okay. Definitely.
Again, you see the length of what I played. Like it was
But
not like
those are mostly exclusive.
yeah,
That's what I want though. I don't want
yeah,
you to say multi-platform games.
yeah. But then again, like I say, for instance, I would have played Mass Effect 2 on PS3, and that's the one I played.
No, we wouldn't count
Then that
that.
would be on that.
No, you
But
just count it
yeah,
because it's not exclusive.
exactly. But I would have counted that like if I was on doing a 360 list, Mass Effect 2 would be number one.
Well, you can no. We would just do a list for I guess of the era then
Yeah,
because they both exist technically.
yeah,
Even though
but
the PS3 one came out, God, like 4 years later, like
yeah,
almost 3 years later. That's the one they put that motion comic in. I have it,
yeah,
but it took them forever to make it.
yeah.
So
But
no, no,
you
I
guys
get
never
it.
got number one though, did you?
I get it, but like for this, the
Ah,
sake of the category, I would
yeah,
rather keep them to exclusives first and
yeah, yeah.
then break it down later.
But then again, like it would have been Mass Effect 1. I think was the only one that was exclusive.
Yes, because of the Xbox deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So
Yeah. So yeah, my PS3.
Okay. Let's see. Number 5, I say Dragon's Crown. 'Cause I just recently realized that was an exclusive game. It was only on Vita.
Yeah.
Um, like that artwork is godlike. It's really good.
Them boobies.
Hey man, you shout him out. Was George Kamatani?
I
His
love
art.
the. He
People
does
know.
amazing boobies.
No. People know who he is. His name is legendary. Muramasa, like all that stuff. He's got his. That's his art style. That's his bread and butter.
You
Thick
draw amazing boobies.
guys, big butts, and fucking boobies. That's what he do. That's what he do.
He's like Frank Cho, but video game world.
This Frank Show She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I do remember.
He makes big boobies, big booties, and I enjoy that. So thank
Um, let's see.
you.
Number 4, I would put Infamous 1. I didn't play 2, but I had a ton of fun with 1.
Okay.
And again, that was exclusive to that system, so I waited. I waited to get it.
It's the creators of Sly Cooper that did that game.
Yeah. I mean, the traversal in that game is like, it's still really good.
Yeah.
It's like I kind of want to find too. I don't know if it's on PSN, but
Probably is.
it should be. If it's not, it should be.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was another one that was really fun. I really like the story comic. I like that. Spoilers, you are the bad guy at the end.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Like you find out that's what you become. It's you from the future.
Yeah.
What? That's so dope. Who's the beast? You're the beast? What? Let's see, that was what, 4? 3, I would have to say, and again, I want to make sure it's not on anything else. See, there's like this. There's a few download only games that
Okay.
I can't see them right now to jog my memory. But you know what? I would have to say there's this game called, what is it called? See, I don't even think it was on like another system. I don't think it was another system. It was like Moon something. It was made by the guy that made Strider. Damn, I forgot the name of it. It's because I didn't. It's been a long time since I played it. But when I first heard that the guy who made the original Strider was coming out with another game that wasn't in the Strider series, and I was like, oh, I have to play this. It was actually really good, but it has a caveat of it's only good in multiplayer, only super fun in multiplayer. Like, if you got a good team in that game, oh my goodness, it was actually really cool. It was innovative and it was like short, but it was really cool. Probably gets no shine. It has like probably like a hardcore file. It's one of those games that's like, it's not really that good.
Okay.
I'll be honest. It's just a thing. If you like that style of game, it'll grab you. It's more like that. So it's a personal favorite. Number 2, Metal Gear Solid 4.
Okay.
I still think that's one of the best video games ever made. If it did not have the loading, it would be even better.
Okay.
But the way they masked it with Snake smoking a cigarette is still one of the coolest. Like, it's just, how do you do that? Kojima, how do you do that? How do you sleep at night? Because this game came out like at the height of, these games are too big to be on systems, so you still have to download stuff to play them.
Yeah.
So that game is huge. I don't know if it says how big it is on the pack.
It was probably the largest PS4 game. It was the largest PS3 game. Period.
It is.
Because it took the full Blu-ray, and that was the reason why they wanted to emphasize the Blu-ray disc because of that.
Yeah, it was like, this is why we want to change the standard, and that's good reason. But see, that's the game that kind of justified what they were going for with the price, but not the message.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. But still, to this day, I think that's one of the best Metal Gear games. I think it's one of the best video games ever made. Like, complete. Just the end of that game, not the actual story part of the ending, because it's an hour and 40. It has an hour 45-minute cutscene.
Yeah.
You can watch that on YouTube. Whatever. It's crazy. It wraps up a lot of loose ends. But the last boss fight in this game is probably my favorite boss fight in any video game ever.
Okay.
Old Man Snake versus Liquid Ocelot, where they're punching each other on top of the what is the Metal Gear called in that game?
I don't know.
I forgot what it was called. It was like the giant Metal Gear that was a whole base,
Yeah.
and you're fighting on top of it. And they play the music from every Metal Gear before that.
Oh, nice.
Yo, that shit is so cool. It's still one of the coolest things. Like it gives like talking about it gives me chills. Like it's
Nice.
that dope. Because then
I
once you hear the Snake Eater music come on and Ocelot starts doing the CQC, I
yeah.
lose my shit. That shit is so dope. Like
I gotta
like
watch
how
that
you
then.
said you didn't like you remember Snake Eater.
Yeah, yeah. That's what
Ocelot's
I
the man.
loved about it.
Ocelot is the man in that fucking game. So when you fight him, when he changes to CQC Ocelot, dude, I couldn't handle it. I was like,
Yeah.
what? Kojima, you're a genius. And my favorite PS3 game is Demon Souls.
Yep.
I wish they would bring it back. I mean, I know it's probably wrapped up in some contract shit. 'Cause I think it's like Atlas or somebody put it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has Atlas's name on it. It's a PlayStation exclusive that FromSoft made, but they made it at the behest of Sony.
Yeah.
It's such a weird story with it, but that's the game that basically started a whole revolution with Dark Souls because that's the precursor to Dark Souls.
Yeah.
It's the formula of you start out as a peon in whatever class you pick, start mad weak, and it's just you're gonna die. And it's just you have to learn your way through the game. And it's essentially some company remaking the old formula of like Legend of Zelda.
Okay.
Or because you don't really level up in that game, but it's almost the same concept of weak ass adventurer traveling through this giant land, and you have to find instead of like the master sword or whatever it was in that game, you find like the bosses and you kill them and level up. And each boss that you level up is your boomerang or your master sword or your whatever because you use the boss souls to make weapons
Yeah.
or you use them to make spells. So it flips a lot of things on its head. It's really cool. I still think it's not underrated because nobody knew what it was. It's just
Okay.
it came out and was just like, what is that?
Cool.
But I think because it's stuck on that system, so many people can't play it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest shame. And I hope they remaster it. Not like Dark Souls 1, because that I hear that's like a botched remaster. You're
Yeah.
better off not playing that. But I hope this sees the light of day someday.
Okay.
And it has a cool reversible cover. It's pretty good. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool. So, and now back to the PS4.
So PS4, it's a bit easier because I honestly right now this is what I mainly play. I played my Xbox, but I haven't played my Xbox in probably like about almost half a year.
Mm.
So, because most of the games are coming out on PS4, and I was just grabbing for the PS4. Plus, I also have more memory on my PS4 than I do have my in my other system. So it's like,
The bigger memory for the system. True,
yeah,
true.
and I have externals for both of them. It's just that I had more space on this one for some reason. PS4 is I'll say five. Five will be shit. I think is the fact that I did not play Dragon Crown on PS3, so I'll say the HD remake of Dragon Crown will be my number five
Okay, good stuff.
because I never got to play it
Scott
on
Steiner
PS3.
approves.
Huh?
Scott Steiner approves.
Yeah. So I'll say that one's my number. Actually, it might not be my number five because I might have to change it. But, you know what? No, Horizon. No, it'll be Uncharted 4. Will be number five.
Okay.
Horizon Zero Dawn will be number 4. God of War will be number 3. Number 2 will be Yakuza 0 because I just fell in love with the series because of that game, and you because you put it in my head, and then that game itself, like I'm playing Yakuza now.
You know what? Let me just make a quick addendum.
Yeah.
My number 3 on PS3, Yakuza 4.
Yeah.
I'll switch that up. Game out. Yeah, Yakuza 4.
Yeah. So I'm playing all the Yakuza series because of that one game, and I think Zero's to this day I think Zero is my favorite one. Just the fact that Majima has such a big role in that, and I like Majima. So that one I'll say is number 2, and I think I played it more than anything on my PS4.
Gotcha.
So that's why I like that. And my number 1 is kind of biased, but fuck you, it's my list. Is Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man to death. Like that game brought everything to the table of what I want from Spider-Man, and Spider-Man is my favorite character. So that game and the story they told and how they told it and was able to do whatever they wanted to do with that game, I can't wait for part 2. I'll buy the PS5 and the collector's edition PS5 comes out with Spider-Man part 2.
That makes okay. Okay.
Yeah, so Spider-Man be number 1.
For me, it's a little bit harder
Yeah.
because okay, I have less exclusive games on here than I do PS3 because that was the whole point,
Yeah.
But okay, well, there's a lot of stuff here I didn't really dig too much into, but I'll say number 5 is Horizon
Okay.
Zero Dawn. That's a beautiful game, dude.
Very pretty.
Awesome game. Very, very good. It deserves every bit of accolades that it gets. It's really good. I would also say number 4 is God of War, the reimagining. That's probably one of the best, like, oh, here's a game we had. Let's change everything up. Everything you thought you knew, gone.
Yeah.
Like, that game is ridiculous. I still think it's one of the best games this generation.
Yeah.
I would say, like, I don't know, man. I don't think there's too much that's much better than that for that category of game.
Okay.
Number 3, and this is kind of is not really its own game. Because again, when I say only exclusives, it's the infamous the side game
Okay.
that came out, Last Light, where you got to play as the girl with the her powers are she can run like super fast, but she can also like she inhales the luminescence, like just from being around fluorescent lights, she gains her powers and stuff.
Okay.
So she takes that in, and when she runs, she leaves that a pink streak behind her. That's like luminescent and everything. Oh my god, that game is so much fun. Like, if you didn't like the infamous for this one, I think you might like her power set better. It's a shorter experience, obviously, because it's a side thing, but it's so much fun. It falls by the wayside because it came out like when the system came out. It was like a year later, so people already forgot about that. I own Tales of Vesperia. I didn't know that. Sorry, I'm just looking through all the stuff I have. Yeah. And funny because we say they're here, but they're not exclusive anymore because they just got to move to Game Pass. But Yakuza 0, dude.
Yeah.
That's my number 2. I really like Kiwami 1 and 2, but 0, dude. 0 is so much fun, man. 0 is so much fun. I love using Majima. I love using all the Kiryu styles, especially the speed one. I like the music when you pick the speed one, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so good. Such a good game. I think anybody who owns a PS4 should get that game. Like, to understand why people are like, yo, you got to play this, you really should. It's essentially, that's the evolution of Shenmue.
Yeah.
I believe.
Shenmue I like this so much better than Shenmue.
But I'm just saying, you think about the huge open world that is really just a town.
Yeah.
Like, Shenmue was Ryu's city, like his little neighborhood. You think about it. And he went to one other area via the bus. Same thing that you do in 0. You go to like the docks, which is like you get a job working for that lady, busting boxes and stuff. Like, it's so much, like, if you look into it, it's like, yo, this really is like Shenmue's bigger cousin or something.
Yeah.
But
yeah, like it's the big brother that beats up the bully.
Yeah.
That's what a Yakuza is.
Yep.
Shenmue is like the little kid, and Yakuza is like, we're gonna beat the shit out of you and fucking pick out
Yeah.
my little brother.
Um, and again, most of this stuff was from like when I played it, so like
Yeah.
it's all it just is. It's not gonna because you could think like why would God of War be lower than like a different like that game or something? It was just like,
Yeah.
dude, it's just when I played it.
Yeah.
Like God of War came out after I played Zero anyway, so I didn't even finish God of War.
Yeah, like I God of War is my number 3, and that's a lot of people's number 1. But you know what? I played it, and I had the feels. But yo, honestly, if I go through the time I spent on my PS4, I think
Yeah,
Yakuza Zero has the most time spent.
yeah, it's just a fact. Yeah, and
And
so my number one is an exclusive, and again, I hope it doesn't end up in the same boat as Demon Souls.
yeah,
But my number one is Bloodborne.
Bloodborne. Okay,
That game is so fucking good, dude.
I have never played it. I own it. I never played it.
You should take some time, just sit down and play it one day.
Okay.
Especially because you have the pro and it performs better. You really should you owe it to yourself. It's that good.
I downloaded it when it was free, so I have it in my system.
It's that good. Like if you've never played anything Lovecraft before and this is your introduction to it, it's probably like the best thing made with Lovecraft in it. Besides like his books, it's so good. It's super creepy. It's bloody. It's got like super fast paced action. It's like Sekiro before Sekiro.
Yeah.
Sekiro is about deflecting, and this is about dodging.
Yeah.
It's super good, super good. I recommend anybody that has a PS4, please get that because it's exclusive.
Cool.
So there you go.
Yeah, because I know technically Monster Hunter would be number 1. But that's not exclusive.
Yeah, it would be, but it's not exclusive.
So Yakuza 0, I think it was just became available on Xbox, so that still is exclusive to me. But the fact that now the Xbox fans could actually experience Yakuza, I'm actually happy about that.
Yeah,
I was like, good. Now y'all can play it and see what the real big fuss is about that game. It's amazing. As simple as the game is, it's an amazing game.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. I agree 100%.
Yeah. I'm skeptical with 7, but I'm excited.
From everything of the side stuff and the little things like the summons, I'm on board.
Yeah.
And the music, I'm on board. It's like the things around the Yakuza game that make me like it, besides the combat, are still there. So I'm in. I'm
gonna miss the combat though.
Yeah, but some people are saying that. Okay, somebody who played the demo said when you actually play it, it kind of takes away some of the needless stuff, and it boils it down to like the moves you do are essentially the same thing you would do in a fight.
Okay.
So visually, you'll probably get some of that.
Okay.
And it's just like, oh, I just want to do my combo, or I want to do that what is it, the heat move or whatever. So because heat moves were essentially a cutscene.
Yeah.
Press triangle, then you do the move. So a lot of the stuff, like, it doesn't lose the impact it had. Because for real, the heat moves are one of the biggest parts of that game.
Yeah.
Like when he just stomps a dude's head against something, or kicks them into something, or grabs a fucking a stop sign and just spins a man around by wailing on him with it. Like stabs a man with a katana, but he never dies. Like that's all that stuff is still there. So I have faith.
Cool.
So that's it. I don't want to go too long. Just it's out the way. This is a special occasion.
Yes. Happy 25th birthday, PlayStation.
Yes.
PlayStation.
Oh, all right. You know what? So, final question: what is your favorite PlayStation boot up sound?
I say the first one.
It's hard between the first one and the second one. That sound when the second one comes on, oh my, I love that. Because you know why I like the second one so much?
Yeah.
Did you know that you can see how much memory you have on the opening screen because of the pillars in the background?
Yes.
That shit, once I learned that, I would always look at it. Like, so there's layers to that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that first one is pretty good though. This first one is pretty good. Like those sounds are like ASMR.
Yeah.
Like I understand what that means in the context of those sounds.
Yeah.
Like they elicit a specific feeling that's like pleasurable.
I
So
like the Dreamcast one better than both.
does it have to have the beep because of a dead VMU?
No.
You know what I'm talking about. Every time you turn your system on, you always hear the beep.
Yeah.
Because nobody's replacing those batteries. Yeah, yeah, you might be right. I think the Dreamcast wins.
Yeah. I like the
Or you know
Dreamcast.
what? I'll. This is just me being an obscure nerd, but you know which one really wins the whole thing? The GameCube sound when you have four controllers.
Yeah.
The Japanese dude is going, "Whoa," and it plays those drums in the background.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I kind of like it a lot.
Nintendo had a kind of few good ones.
I think after what? After I think GameCube
Well,
was
they
just
all honestly they all have one. It's just that they
yeah,
got less and less. Like even the Switch has the snap.
but no, 64 had. I'm like Nintendo. Nintendo had the ding.
Yeah.
Um, Super Nintendo. I think it also had the same sound, right?
Yeah.
And then Game Boy had it. Yeah, the Game Boy still no up
Well, Game
until
Boy just had the sound of the system going on.
yeah, say Game Boy.
Yeah.
Ding! Yeah.
64 didn't really have one.
No, but it had a thing when you turn the game on though.
Yeah.
It had the logo when it made some type of noise.
GameCube had a big one.
Yeah, GameCube had the one with the
Yeah.
with the sound of the cube forming, but then it had the secret one, so you could pick which one you wanted.
Yeah. And
Um,
then the Wii had one. I don't remember it that
how
well.
was the Wii? All I remember was that it opens up to the menu.
I think that Wii U had one too. I just can't remember it because
Oh,
it's been that far.
I can't remember the Wii U. All I can remember was the menu from the Wii
And
U.
then the Switch has the snap.
Yes, so, yeah. That's pretty good. It's all right. It's still no Dreamcast.
Yeah.
It's still no Dreamcast. So,
Yes.
all right, we should probably
Sega ends the cast.
we should wrap it up. That's a lot.
So we're gonna wrap this up.
Yo, where can they catch you at, Merc?
Twitch on Twitch TV/Mark with the Mic. This is the channel. We are usually live around 12 o'clock and 2 o'clock for both our podcasts, the Wrestling Babble and the Guess What I Swear. Follow me on Twitch TV, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, SoundCloud, and YouTube. All Mark with the Mic. Follow our Facebook pages of the Wrestling Wink and the Wrestling Babble podcast. We are very active on that as well. And yeah, that's about it.
And once again, thank you for listening in. Make sure you catch us on twitch.tv/Merc with the Mic if you want to catch us live. Otherwise, you can check out anything and everything Red Cyclone Inc. on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram. You can catch these podcasts on YouTube and SoundCloud. And we got a WordPress. And we also have the Facebook group, the Wrestling Babble, and also the Red Cyclone Inc. I say the Wrestling Babble because we just did a podcast.
Yes.
So we have a multifaceted front. If you like wrestling, we got that.
We have everything. If you like Star Wars, we got that. If you like Power Rangers, we got that. If you like everything and everything in between, we got that too.
People listening to the Star Wars cast, so I'm glad people are checking it out.
Yes. The Star Wars cast, we're coming back next month after Christmas for Empire Strikes Back.
Nice.
The Morphicast also, we're redoing Space, and we'll have Mega Ranger. So you're going to have 2 casts for December of the Power Ranger cast.
Awesome.
So, because I had to redo Space. I didn't like how it came out.
All right, good.
Yes.
We're going to make it better. That's what we're doing.
Yes. So, Space and Mega Ranger will be next month, and then we're gonna take a little break after that, and go back to Jetman.
Nice, damn.
So we're gonna go separate for a bit, and then because this is the end of the Zordon era anyway, so it kind of gives us that time to just stop. Go, pretty much. We've been wanting to see do Jetman for quite some time. So, and Jetman was really good. It's just that we had other shit we had to take care of first before that going into that. And to do 2 seasons of Super Sentai in 1 month, that's really fucking hard. There's a lot of fucking episodes. So,
Okay.
So we're gonna go to Jetman right after Mega Ranger.
Nice.
with the
Nice.
smoking monsters. Ranger Scarf.
What? Oh, that's the dude you showed me. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I gotta watch
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah. They're all
I,
good, man. Mega Ranger, I think you'll like too, because Mega Ranger is very video game like.
oh, really?
So
Okay.
this is the last thing I'll leave you guys with, and we started watching. I started watching Mega Ranger. I'm at like 15 episodes in right now. One thing I think they did that I always wondered about Power Rangers, because if they didn't, they weren't fighters before. How they learned how to fight and everything.
Mm-hmm.
This one, pretty much, the Mega Rangers were video games. They played
Oh,
arcades. They played it every day, and that was they were addicted to those arcades and shit, right?
mm-hmm.
So when they first morphed, the guy told them straight out, "Oh, you know everything. Like why? Because you've been playing this game for quite some time. So all those moves that you've been doing in the game, you know for real."
Oh, I got you.
That was one of the best things they ever did with these series. The fact that they actually explained how they know how to fight.
Wow, that's cool. So basically, they were trained in VR.
They was training not VR, but like
Oh no, I
it's
know,
like a
I
Street
know, but
Fighter
like
game.
technically, I
Yeah.
get you. No, okay, okay, that's dope.
The one before that, like the Car Ranger, they didn't know how to fight. They even admit, like when they were outside the suits, they didn't know how to fight. They ran and fucking like did what they had to do, but they didn't really fight outside the suits.
Wow, that's interesting.
Thank you, Japan, for making sense of things.
Mm-hmm. It's
Because
pretty dope.
America don't know how to do shit. They gave us Justin. They gave us Rocky. They gave us
Ooh,
Carlos. I hate them all.
no bueno.
All right, so that's about it. And last but not least, I'm trying to find a Justin changeable head figure for Tommy for Christmas.
Oh, really?
So I found a Rocky one for $1 at a Comic Con, and I gave it to him, and he was so mad because it's Rocky.
Yeah.
So
I get
Justin's
that. I
even
get
worse. And I know the Justice one is if you press the legs, it spins the head in.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not like a flip; it's a spin.
Wow, that's dope.
Anyway,
All right, that's not bad.
all right. So, peace out, laters, and always remember follow the Jinkies.
Sandwiches.